Have you ever stopped to think about what really drives your decisions, especially when nobody's looking? We all have this kind of internal compass, but what's it actually made of? Well, today, we're going to break down the essential building blocks of our character. Okay, let's just jump right in with a little thought experiment. Picture this. You're walking down a hallway, it's totally empty, and you see a crisp $20 bill just sitting there on the floor. Nobody's around. What do? That first immediate gut reaction. That's what we're really interested in.
So whatever you just decided to do with that 20 bucks, that wasn't some random impulse. Nope. It's a direct reflection of your character. It's like a little window into this powerful internal framework that's always running in the background, shaping pretty much everything you do.
To really get to the bottom of that decision, we need to unpack the three core parts of our character. We toss around words like values, morals, and ethics all the time, kind of like they're all the same thing, but they're not. They're actually distinct layers, and figuring out the difference is absolutely key. Let's start at the very foundation, your values. These are your personal beliefs about what truly matters in life. They come from inside you. They're the principles you choose for yourself. So for example, if honesty is one of your core values, that internal belief is going to be the very first voice you hear when you spot that cash on the floor. Okay, now let's zoom out a bit to morals. So if values come from inside you, morals come from the outside. They come from your society, your culture, your family. They're the shared rules of right and wrong for the whole group. Like that pretty much universal moral rule, do not steal. And finally, we've got ethics. This is another external system, but it's even more specific. The best way to think about ethics is like a formal rulebook for a particular group, usually a profession. A doctor's duty to keep patient info private? That's not just a nice idea. It's a core professional ethic they have to follow. So just to recap, we've got the personal, the societal, and the professional. Values, morals, and ethics. Each one has a different job, and seeing them laid out side by side like this, well, it makes the whole thing crystal clear. Now take a look at this. The really important column to focus on here is source. See how values are internal? They come from you. But morals and ethics, they're both external, from society or your job. And this is why sometimes things can feel a little conflicted. Your personal values might clash with a societal moral or a professional ethic. Understanding where they come from helps you figure out those tough spots. All right, so we've got these ideas down, but so what? How do they go from being just concepts in our heads to the actual actions that define who we are? This next part is all about putting those beliefs into motion. This is where the rubber really meets the road. And this brings us to a huge, crucial concept, integrity. And honestly, this quote just says it all. Doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Remember that empty hallway with the $20 bill? Yeah, that was a test of integrity. It's all about who you are when there's no audience.
You could say integrity is really about alignment. It's that moment when your inner thoughts, the words you say, and the things you actually do all match up perfectly with your core values. So if your value is honesty, integrity is the act of turning in that $20. It's closing the gap between what you believe and what you do. And this whole idea of integrity, it has a very specific name in the professional world. We call it a strong work ethic. Just think about it for a second. When someone's reliable, dedicated, productive, when they do high-quality work, even when their boss isn't around, they're not just a good employee, they're showing professional integrity in action. But here's the thing. These principles don't just stop with us as individuals. Our personal character creates a ripple effect. When we act with integrity, that scales up, shaping our communities and, even our whole society.
A fantastic way to see this in action is something called service learning. And this is way more than just simple volunteering. It's a whole process. First, you learn something in a formal setting, like a classroom. Then, you take that knowledge and apply it through community service. And the result? You gain real skills and make a real positive impact. So you don't just read about water quality, you actually go out and help test the local river. You're turning learning into doing. This drive to contribute to something bigger than yourself actually has a name: civic virtue. It's really the core idea of being a good citizen, choosing what's best for everyone over your own immediate interests. And this isn't always about some grand gesture. It's in the big things, sure, like voting, but it's also in the small things, like sorting your recycling. It all contributes to a healthier community.
So we've covered values, morals, ethics, integrity, the whole shebang. But is there one simple guiding principle that holds it all together? Like a master key for navigating all the messy parts of being human? Well, for centuries, a lot of very smart people would point to this, the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. This is the bedrock of empathy and respect. And it's not just about being nice. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together. For example, it's about actually listening to your coworker's idea in a meeting, even if you disagree with it, because that's how you'd want your own ideas to be heard.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Think of it this way. Morals and ethics, those are the what. They're the rule books. But your values are the why. They are the engine, the internal motivation to actually follow those rules. Your personal value of honesty is what makes the moral don't steal actually feel right to you. And when the what and the why line up perfectly, that's integrity.
So we're going to end right where we started, with you. I want you to take a second and really think about this question. Look back at some of the most important decisions you've ever made. What's the one core value that shows up again and again guiding you? Is it fairness? Is it compassion? Courage? Finding that personal North Star, that's the real key to understanding who you are and who you want to become.